I had the time of my life, and it was a couple years ago, and I swear this is true, and I wish it upon you. This is the story of how I had the best night of my life. This is the story of how I fell in love with older women. This is the story when I became a man. This is when I truly became a man, right? So, it is 2016? Hold up. Let me do some math in my head. It had to have been, yeah. 2016. And I'm in New Orleans, right? I'm working this job. I'm contracting out of New Orleans, out of NOLA. Tons of love for the place. This was, it was around February, March. It was crawfish season. And, first off, for anyone who's never been to the South before, anyone who's never, especially in that area, fun fact, that's actually where my family's from. I'm Creole. But for anyone who's never been to the South like that, I recommend it for, it's definitely a vacation spot. Definitely a spot to hit. It has its own culture. That's what's so rich about it, is like when I was literally the first night I was there, right? Because I was working this job and, I was somewhere new almost every single week, but I was spending about 3 weeks in this place. And, since I'm always somewhere new and I don't know anybody, don't know anything, usually the first couple of nights I'm there, I'll land like on a Sunday or Monday. I'll end up, just kind of going to like the local bars, get in touch with like some bartenders, some barbacks, kind of just see where the local flair is at, where do the locals go? What do they do? What do they, where do they drink? Where do they eat? I'm not trying to do the touristy shit. I'm not trying, I'm in New Orleans. I'm not trying to do the touristy shit. Not trying to, whatever. And, that's just what I would typically do. So, this one night, right? And I think it was like a fucking Wednesday or Thursday. And I just met the the project manager, and I'm working under him, but me and him, like we get along pretty well. We get we hit it off, we get along pretty well. Keep in mind I work in IT, and most guys that work in IT, it's the nerds, right? And I'm not saying I'm not a nerd. I'm a huge fucking nerd. Y'all already know. And I won't deny that ever in my life. But more often than not, like with the nerd territory, they're not really trying to go out. They're not really, they're more introverted, basically. Intranerded. I just made that up. I might say that. I'm going to use that from now on. Fuck it. Intranerded. But I'm more on the extroverted side, right? I do like going out. I do like meeting new people. I don't necessarily recharge like a true extrovert, but I would rather, how do I say, like if I just spent the last couple weeks or, the last little bit, like not doing shit, then of course I'm going to want to go out, of course I'm going to want to, cut up. But, so me and my boss, right? He was more my supervisor than my actual boss. So I'll say that. Me and my supervisor, fuck it, it's easier to say boss. Me and my boss, he invites me out. He was like, "Hey, I just met this one chick, from doing, this over here, and she actually works part-time at this bar she's going to be at tonight." He's like, "You down to go?" I said, "Fuck yeah, I'm down to go." He said, "All right, bet. What hotel you at?" And I was like, "I'm at this one." And he's like, "All right, I'll swoop you around 7 and we'll hit it." I said, "Awesome." So sure enough, he shows up at 7. We go to this other chick's bar, and it was a really cool place. It was real vibey. It was it was low key. They had a lot of beers on tap. This is my joint, right? I love beer lounges, beer gardens, beer. I'm a huge beer person, so I'm already loving the place. And it's all fucking NOLA'd out, and you see all the fucking Saints colors, and the fucking green, purple, gold, and all that shit, and they got the jazz playing, and it was dope as fuck, right? We're kind of shit talking some of the locals, and we're kind of like, it was a good time. This is what I like doing. And but it is getting late. It is around like 9:30. Gotta be up early, gotta work tomorrow morning. And so we head back, right? You know, we already stayed out for a couple hours. We head back, and we literally, I think we actually, no, cause in New Orleans, they give you beers to go. Yeah. So get the fuck this. The first night that I was there, they were, I go out to this bar, and it was like in this alleyway, and like there was a bunch of people walking through, and the place is packed as fuck, and I was just like, oh shit, I'm chilling at the bar. I'm just like, and it was so loud just because of the amount of people that were in there, like talking and shit, and like it wasn't even the music, or it wasn't even, it was just the fucking, like, it was a really cool, like, it took me by surprise, because this was like a Monday or a Tuesday or some shit, right? Ooh, excuse me. Keep in mind, it's New Orleans. It's a vacation spot. It's, it's pretty much packed year round. But anyway, so I remember when I was leaving, right? The girl and she was like, because I think I was about, or no, I told her it was my last one. And I was like, hey, this is my last one. I was like, I'm going to get out of here after I drink this. She goes, oh, do you want that to go? I said, word? I was like, no fucking way. I was like, y'all done fucked up now. Y'all do that here? Y'all done fucked up now. And so, they do that there in New Orleans. You can get drinks to go. You can, I didn't see like any like, drinking in public. I mean, granted, I wasn't paying attention to it, but the fact, she just poured in a styrofoam cup, and I was on my little happy way. Right. But, so we stopped, we had our beers, back to the story. We had our beers, the boss drops me off, but, we're just kind of chilling in front of the hotel. We're just kind of chilling there in a little parking area, and, we're just talking, laughing, whatever. And this one chick, she walks up, right? And like, from the get-go, she already got it going on. She's easily in her, I'd say like late 30s, early 40s, and she's got the hourglass figure, the big hips, nice ass, titties for days. Like, she's looking good, like just looking fucking good. And I see my boss, right? I see her giving her the up down. And so I say, oh shit, here we go. And he comes like, right, he's like, excuse me, ma'am, do you have a cigarette? And right away she goes, ma'am, who are you calling ma'am? Right? I some women don't like to be called ma'am. When I worked in retail, I even got that a couple times, right? Some women just don't like to be called ma'am. It makes them feel old, or maybe, maybe it's too formal for them, or, whatever the fuck. Just the same as some guys don't like to be called sir, it is what it is. But literally right from that, I could already tell, like, he said the wrong thing. She, right, she wasn't feeling it, whatever. But, she did have a cigarette. She ends up, whatever. And then, and he could tell too, he didn't pursue anything. He was just like, oh, okay. And then I think he was just like, oh, where are you coming from? And she was like, oh, I was at a bar down over there, and, whatever. And she was kind of giving him like those short answers. She was kind of, whatever. And then so, he could tell she's not feeling him. And, we were turning in anyway. So, it's almost 10 o'clock at this point, if not like 10:15, 10:30. I wasn't keeping track of time at this point. I'm drunk as shit. And so he was like, all right, Jake, I'm going to get out of here, man. He's like, I'll see you at work tomorrow. And I was like, all right, bro. I was like, see you in a bit. And the woman, she starts to walk off, right? Granted, she's in the hotel that I'm staying at, but she starts to walk off. But me being my drunk self, I slide right in, right? Hand around her waist and everything. And I was like, sweetheart, I'm super hungry. I was like, do you know anywhere I could get something to eat around here? And, and I was hungry, right? My big ass. I was fucking hungry. And then, so, she leans back in too. Like, she leans into me, she's resting her head on mine. And she was like, yeah, she points. She was like, over here. And she was like, if you go down there. And she was like, oh, give me your number. And you will hang out after you get something to eat. And I was like, all right, sure, yeah. So, we exchanged numbers and everything. And, I go to this bar. And it was literally right down the street, right? Probably like 2 blocks, maybe 3 blocks. Not far at all. And, I go to this place, and it was like like a bar club-ish, or no, it was separated. You know, they had this, neither here nor there, whatever. It was a pretty cool bar. They had live music, and I meet this Irish and English dude, right? And they just met that night. You know, they're cracking jokes, they're having fun. I start talking with them. You know, we're all fucking laughing, having a good ass time. I get my little hush puppies or whatever. You know, just some fried drunk food, and then all of a sudden, you know, my phone just. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, who the fuck's hitting me up right now? I open my phone. Hey, are you still interested? From a random number. And I was like, what the fuck? I was like, am I still interested? Oh my God. I pay my bar tab real quick. And now you see my big ass power walking down the street and shit. You know, I'm texting her back. I was like, yeah, I'm still interested. Where you at? And she's like, oh, I'm in room fucking 331 or whatever. She was like, I gotta get ready. She was like, I'll let you know. And I was like, all right, oh shit. So I'm going back to my room. You know, I throw the shower on. I turn the sink on, right? I'm fucking wasting water because I don't want to waste time. Hop in the shower, scrub myself off, you know, whatever. You know, fucking dry myself off. Now I'm in the sink, brushing my teeth, you know, scrubbing my tongue, you know, just fucking putting on more deodorant and shit, you know, making sure, you know, I'm putting on my good button up. And I'm over here, I'm sitting on the bed, right? I'm sitting on my bed watching Adult Swim, looking fly as hell, waiting for the come through text. And so she texts me like, what, probably like 10 minutes later ish. And then she was like, all right, you can come over now. And so I go to the fucking, you know, I find her room, and this was a big ass hotel too. Like, I think it took me like a good 5 minutes to find her room, because it just wasn't one building. It was like multiple buildings, and they had like a fucking courtyard with a tennis course and, you know, a basketball like court and, you know, shit like that. It was a big ass hotel. And so, you know, I find where she was at, knock on the door, right? You know, I'm all cool, right? I'm standing there in the door trying to look all chill and fucking, you know, just, she opens the door, you know, she had a little lock on, and she, oh, hey, it's you. And I was like, yeah, what's up? You know, she fucking closes the door, you know, you hear the locks going and shit. She opens it up. And the way her room was set up was, you walk in and there's like a little living room area, you know, a little love seat, a little chair. They got the TV right there and everything. And so I go straight to the couch, right? Because I'm thinking, you know, we're going to do a little bit of foreplay, you know, get the mood going and shit, you know. And I was like, man, you know, she's probably going on, turn on some music, whatever. And, you know, she was like, oh, do you want a beer? You know, I hear from the little hallway over there. And you know, of course, I'm an alcoholic, right? So I was like, yeah, you know, I was like, of course I want a fucking beer. And I was like, yeah, I'll take one. And so she comes back. She was like, oh, I hope Bud Light is okay, because, you know, that's all I have. And, you know, I was like, oh, fucking Bud Light. You know, because I don't drink domestics. So, you know, in my mind, I was like, oh, fucking Bud Light. But, you know, I'm just like, yeah, I was like, it's fine, you know, whatever. Pop it open. I literally take like a sip and a half before she walks back, you know, through the hallway, you know, where her little kitchen was at. And then she was like, I got to go to the bathroom. But she was like, you can come wait on the bed if you want. And then, so I was like, yeah, okay. So I put the beer down on the table. I walk through the little hallway, and she's just sitting on the bed, open legged, right? Her clothes, she's still fully clothed, right? She's still fully clothed, but just open leg. And so immediately, right? Immediately, I just push her down. I start taking her fucking pants off. She starts taking my clothes off. You know, things start getting heated and everything. I remember too, because so you know, we turned over and she was taking my pants off, and she fucking threw them, right? Threw them to the side. And you hear this big ass just, don't, you know, it hits the fucking door. And I remember that was my phone in my pocket. And I remember thinking, I was like, bitch, if you broke my phone, I was like, I'm gonna be fucking mad. But, I mean, all those thoughts went away when she climbed on top of me, right? So we start going, right? Getting it in. And she's loud as fuck. She's getting loud as fuck, right? She's, you know, yelling, fucking breathing, fucking yelping, and, you know, just everything. And, you know, she's like, fuck me right there. You know, she's doing the most, right? doing the most. And I remember when I took this woman's clothes off, you know, she had the fucking body. She had the, like, I legitimately felt like I was in a porno. And I was like, why did, and I was like, this is proof. This is proof that there is a God. This is proof. I said, thank you. I don't know if you did this, but thank you. This is exactly what I needed. This is what I wanted. This is everything I could have ever asked for in my young adult life. I think I was 22 at the time. And, you know, she's fucking, you know, we turn over and, you know, I'm hitting her like missionary and she like picks her legs, throws her legs up and shit. And, you know, she's still getting all loud. You know, I flip her over, you know, going to the prone bone position. And, you know, I'm just hitting it from the back, right? And then, you know, I tell her, you know, I'm getting close and she was like, fuck yeah. She was like, come inside me. And I was like, wait, what? Like, I literally stopped and I was like, what? And she goes, it's okay, I'm fixed. Like, literally, like, it was like a 5-second break in all of the fucking, like, heat of the moment. Just like that little exchange. I was, wait, what? It's okay, I'm fixed. And I was just, fuck yes! Bro, when I tell you, I painted this bitch's walls white. I fucking destroyed that fucking town. Like, it was not even just. And so, you know, done deal, right? First off, like this was literally like, I had, like, it was the best night of my life, right? It was the best night of my life. And so, you know, I flop over. You know, I flop over. And she fucking gets up, right? And she's just like, you know, she's all sore and shit. She's doing that fucking waddle to the bathroom. And, you know, and I'm all naked as shit right now on the bed. I'm like, you goddamn right. Beat that pussy up. She goes to the bathroom, yo, she does whatever the fuck she does. You know, she comes back in and right when she lays down, she falls asleep, right? Right when she lays down, she falls asleep. And so I was just like, and I remember too, I was like, okay, I could either leave or I could go to sleep. But I was drunk, and so I went to sleep. In a matter of 10 seconds, right, I just fell the fuck asleep. Now, what was weird, got a burp, sorry. Oh, shit. I think I literally burp on every single episode. I think I literally burp on every single episode. Whatever. And so, we wake up at the same exact time. Like, you know when you stay over at a friend's house? Or, you know, like, when you were younger, you know, you had sleepovers, whatever the fuck. And, like, everyone just wakes up at the same time. You know, granted, I was the weird kid that was always awake before everybody. I always went to sleep, like, the latest, and I always woke up the earliest. You know, you're just kind of sitting there awkward with, like, your little sleeping bag or, you know, blanket and pillow or whatever, and you're just like, you know, no one else is up. I can't start making noise. I don't want to wake anyone else up, you know, so you just lay down. You're just waiting. But, you know, we woke up at literally the same exact time. And, right, the way we were facing, right? We weren't even, like, spooning or cuddling, like, nothing, right? But we were both facing one side of the room. And it was just a big-ass mirror, right? Mirror closet. Big-ass mirror. And so we wake up. We make eye contact through the mirror. She reaches back. And she just grabs my dick. Just literally just grabs my dick. And I was like, this is the best. This is the best. This is the best ever. And so we fuck again, right? And it was just as good as it was the night before. But now we're both sober. If not a little bit hungover and drunk, you know? Like, we're more in our right mind. We're less under the influence, you know, than before. And the sex was just as great as it was the night before, right? Once again, you know, I lay pipe, blast all up in the coochie. You know, it is what it is. If I could do it again, I would do it again. I mean, shit, I did do it again. But, you know, we get done that time. And, you know, I'm putting my clothes back on. And, you know, now she's getting all Oh no. So like, yeah, we get done, right? And I'm laying there and I was like, I got like 2.5 hours until I gotta go to work. Like it was early in the morning. Like I think it was geez, maybe like around 6 something, 7 something. And no, it wasn't. It was like 5 something in the morning because we had to be at work by 8 o'clock, I believe. So yeah, it was like 5 or 5:30. And I remember she like her phone went off on her nightstands and she was like, oh, that's just my husband. And I was like, bitch, what? You know, in my head, I was like, what? But then, so I'm just like, I was like, wait, what? I was like, huh? And she was like, oh, I mean, my kids. And I was like, great. And I had to tell myself, because that did kind of fuck me up, right? Because one, she was not wearing a ring. That is whenever I go and whenever I'm talking to older women, whenever I'm flirting with older women, the first thing I look at is their hand before I even approach them. I don't fuck with married people, right? I don't fuck with married couples. I don't fuck with that shit. And she was not wearing a ring. This woman was not wearing a ring, right? I don't know if she was going through something in her relationship or maybe she has an open relationship. But as far as I'm concerned, I was recorded. I think I fucking cuckolded some dude's wife and now I'm on the internet. But no, yeah, she said that shit. And so I just started getting dressed, right? I get out of bed and I was like, oh, I got to go to work anyways. And she was like, oh, I fly out today. And, you know, I'm putting on my pants and like, she's, you know, she comes to the edge of the bed and she starts like hugging me and shit. And she starts, you know, she's like on cloud 9, you know, like big ass smile on her face. And she was like, oh, I wish we would have met earlier. And I wish I would have known you were here and this and that. And, you know, I'm just like, oh, me too. And, you know, whatever. But I was like, oh, I gotta go. And so then I think I might still have her number in all honesty. Granted, we were both, you know, like, we were both staying in a hotel. So, you know, as far as I'm concerned, she's from fucking, you know, New Jersey or whatever the fuck, right? So there would be no point in, you know, texting her, hey, what's up? Like, but yeah. No, but then come to find out, there was a hurricane warning. And we actually didn't show up to work until like 10 o'clock. So we could have easily fucked like 2 or 3 more times, but you know, I didn't get that text until way later, and then I was tired as shit, right? I fell asleep, and then I was hungry, and I wasn't even thinking about it, right? I wasn't even thinking about it. But when I tell you, this woman fucked my brains out. She fucked me stupid. She fucked me sideways. She was on top. Keep in mind, right? My whole experience with sex has been kind of blah. Because it's always me doing all the work. You know, all these bitches want to dance and grind and be all nasty, you know. But then as soon as you get in bed, right? As soon as you get in bed, they just starfish. They just lay there. And I'm basically masturbating with you. That's pretty much what's happening, right? To be fucking blunt. And to me, it's not enjoyable, right? I like it when both of them like it, right? You know, fucking do something, right? Be enthusiastic. Like that's the biggest thing, right? Enthusiastic. You know, I get like there's been times, right, where I've slept with some girls and the first time, right? First time it's whatever, but then the second time's better, you know? And so I get, you know, it's, you know, sometimes they're shy, but once again, you don't get that with older women. Older women are the shit. Older women know what they want. Older women don't play games. Older women have I will advocate for cougars all day. All fucking day. I will advocate for cougars. I don't give a fuck. I don't fuck around with 21-year-olds anymore. I don't fuck around with 23-year-olds anymore. If you ain't like 27 and up, nah thanks. Nah thanks. I ain't about it. But that's how I fell in love with older women. That's how I fell in love with cougars. That's how I fell in love with moms. That's how I fell in love. You know, I don't want little fucking perky Priscilla, you know, from fucking 3rd Avenue. Hell no. Give me fucking Wilma, mother of 4, twice divorced. That's what I want. Oh shit. So if you were to take away anything from this story, it's one, go to New Orleans. Because you will have, there's some people I met in New Orleans that I still keep in contact with today. Through social media, of course. But definitely go to New Orleans. Dope ass place. I will say Bourbon Street's kind of a gimmick. That's where you go if you want to get fucked up. But it's literally like the same 4 or 5 businesses. It's literally like on repeat. Like, it's almost like you're going through an old movie or cartoon, where the background kind of repeats itself. Fucking, that's kind of what Bourbon Street is. It's like the same strip club, pizza spot, beer, like, bar. It's like the same 4 companies just on repeat down Bourbon Street. Definitely go just to say that you've been. But if you want to know where the real party's at, that's at the French Quarter. That's where you'll go and, you'll have the jazz bands on the corner of the street. Motherfuckers playing the big ass tubas and shit. And, they're playing the fucking, you'll go and you'll see all the voodoo shit, the stores and, the French Quarter. French Quarter is where you go. You'll get good ass drinks. You'll meet funny locals. Go to Bourbon Street just once. Go to the French Quarter for fun. Go to New Orleans for a good ass time. And hit up the Cougars to fuck. And that's all.